What is this? A plane. Do you know who made this? People made it. Do you know why? Because they were going to be needing it, and they made it for a purpose. That plane is dedicated to doing missionary work, to spread the gospel. So when you see that plane, you will know that people made it for a purpose.
People are afraid of aviation. They're afraid of the risk. It's a big expense, and it is a risk.
You need to be well trained. A good set of nerves is very handy because there's no room for error. If you don't do it right, you don't get to try again.
If it weren't for the airplanes, most of this work couldn't happen. Or it would take months to do what we can do in minutes.
There's just certain places you don't want to touch down. You have to wait and let some of the strip go under you before you touch down because there's pretty bad humps there. It doesn't leave a whole lot to stop. Always have to be exact every time, no matter what the winds do to you.
Aren't very good. A lot of people just do not want to fly that type of flying because they think it's too high risk. It is higher risk than normal people flying in the States, but proper training and having the proper capabilities to start with, we can keep risk down to minimum.
Very close. I almost hit one. Dog was on the runway. On a little short strip. Come on, no, get out of the way, no. You know, that would slow you down quite a bit, and that was tight enough as it was. I was 2/3 down the runway, didn't have any airspeed indicator, and it's too late to stop. And it just barely missed it. Just barely.
Flying for me is just really what I enjoy doing. Ever since I was small, that's what I love to do. I just enjoy the challenge of it, especially here on some of the smaller strips, different weather conditions. I enjoy the scenery, just the whole exhilarating feeling of flying. But I ultimately enjoy what we can accomplish with flying here, and that's spreading God's word to people that don't know.
Some mornings I go out to have just one flight, and it's almost dark by the time I get back because emergencies just keep popping up. And so by the time I get back with one, I have 1 or 2 more waiting, and it goes on all day long. This happens very regularly. We have 2 this morning instead of 1. We have someone else that got very sick, very high fever, about midnight last night. And so we'll be taking the mother, the baby, and 1 other out. So it's good we decided we'd come light on fuel. Vamos subiendo. There's been a lot of times picking patients up off of little short strips. The day's hot, the wind's not right, but you know if you don't go, they aren't going to make it. And so when you know God's going to help you and He wants you to go, you go ahead and go. And He puts His angels there to help pick the plane up. It's not that we fly without fear, it's just that you fly in God's hands and you know whatever, yes, you do, He'll give you strength and ability to do. The sickness doesn't stop, the accidents don't stop, and there's no roads passable into most of these villages. And so there's no way to get the people out. If they can't walk out on their own, either they get well or they don't. There's no other option.
It's good to go. Just put the cowling back on, and we're ready. My father actually discouraged me a little bit from doing mission aviation only because there's so few positions around the world. And he's the one that encouraged me to diversify my skills. Say 5 feet longer than the antenna. I went to Southern Adventist University and took nursing. And I was already a pilot at that point, so I was just getting some experience and doing my aircraft maintenance training as well. It's exciting work. I came here straight out of college, hardly a cent in my pocket, and I'm still here. I got married almost 2 years ago now. I started flying here when I was 23 years old. I'm now 26 years old. And it's very interesting to talk with people, communicate with people on email, and when you first meet them, they assume you're 40 years old or something. You know, they think you should be much older. I get many surprised people here that think, wow, you're so young, and you're already doing this. But for young people, I would say, take every opportunity you have now, preparing to do this work. And if you have any goals that you're trying to reach, don't wait till you're done with college, don't wait till you're done with high school. If you're in grade school, start working towards that goal right now. Ultimately, don't let people discourage you because of your age. Regardless of how young you are, it's not too young to start reaching your goals and serving the Lord.
This is what I do for recreation, de-stress. You climb the mountain and then you have a nice, relaxful flight back down.
Currently with 8 aircraft and only 3 pilots, each of which is flying about 1,000 hours a year, God's work is needing pilots. Pilots who are willing to work with some unknown variables, not knowing where tomorrow's operating budget or food is going to come from. With helicopters going into Norway and the Philippines, and God's use of technology with aircraft, God is preparing pilots today. Pilot nurses, pilot physicians, pastor pilots, pilot mechanics. Maybe you're one of them. It's not about getting a job, it's about doing a job.